What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money, saving money, building generational wealth, and financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I try to give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn in business school and in grad school, I give it to you for free here on Financipation, okay? And I have an MBA, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Also, let me give a shout out to one of my sponsors before I get started, Kilico Solutions. If you need digital marketing, website development, or someone to essentially edit a YouTube video, just like they're editing this YouTube video right here, they're the best in the business of meeting all of your digital needs, okay? And please hit that notification bell so that you know when I drop new content. So this particular podcast, everybody, we're going to talk about the traditional IRA versus the Roth IRA. And on this particular podcast, everybody, we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of the Roth IRA versus the traditional IRA. And ideally, which one I think you should probably pick and choose based on your own individual path and journey. And which one, more importantly, my wife and I chose in ours, okay? So let's get started. First and foremost, what is a traditional IRA? The term IRA, the acronym stands for Individual Retirement Account, and this type of account is tax deferred and it essentially uses pre-tax dollars. What this means is that if you make $50,000 a year and you put $5,000 into your traditional IRA, the federal government is only going to tax you on $45,000. But when you retire, the federal government is going to hit you with taxes when you take that $5,000 out. At the time of this recording in 2023, you can put approximately $6,500 into your traditional IRA account. And my advice is that you should max out that account literally every year, whether you're going with a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Next, now let's talk about what is a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a slightly different individual retirement account because the word Roth means that you get taxed in the beginning, right up front, when you put the money into it, but the money grows tax-free. So when you take it out in retirement, you don't get taxed. For example, let's say the same individual makes $50,000 a year, and instead of going with the traditional IRA, they invest into a Roth IRA and they put $5,000 into it. What that means is that the federal government is still going to tax you on $50,000 a year but years later when you retire, they are not going to tax you on the $5,000 that you put into the account. So with the traditional IRA, you get taxed essentially at the end, but you do not get taxed in the beginning. With a Roth IRA, you get taxed in the beginning, but you don't get taxed in the end. And once again, at the time of this recording in 2023, $6,500 is the most you can put into your traditional or your Roth IRA. And my advice, once again, is regardless of whether you're going with a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, you should put $6,500 every year into it because it's a tax efficient account. Next. Let's talk about the concept of withdrawing money from your Roth IRA versus your versus your traditional IRA, okay? With a Roth IRA, you can pull money out of your contributions at any point, tax and penalty free, because the government has already taxed you on it when you originally put into the Roth IRA. Once again, people, remember, with the Roth IRA, you get taxed in the beginning, but your money grows tax free and you don't get taxed in the end. With the traditional IRA, you get taxed at the very end because you don't get taxed in the beginning. So with the traditional IRA, there is no distinction between your contributions or your earnings because the government does not tax you at the beginning. They tax you in the end. And in order to put money from your traditional IRA or your Roth IRA, penalty free, you need to be at least 59 and a half years old. But you will still be taxed if it's for a traditional IRA. There are circumstances, however, where you can prematurely pull money out of your traditional IRA, like if you are a first-time home buyer or if you're essentially applying for the right kind of graduate degree. But in general, if you pull money out early in your traditional IRA before you're 59 and a half, you're going to be hit with a 10% penalty and pay taxes on it. And also that 10% penalty also depends on the state that you live in, okay? Another major difference between Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs is that Roth IRAs, unfortunately, come with income limits for eligibility. So this is what I mean by that, okay? With a Roth IRA, at the time of this recording in 2023, with a Roth IRA, if you are single and you make over $153,000 a year, you cannot directly contribute to a Roth IRA. Additionally, if you're married or you're filing jointly with your partner and you make over you have a combined income of over $228,000 a year, you cannot directly contribute to a Roth IRA. I say directly contribute to a Roth IRA because there's a method that you can get around to actually contribute to a Roth IRA called the backdoor Roth IRA. And I'm gonna do a separate podcast about that later, okay? Whereas with the traditional IRA, they don't come with income limits. So it doesn't matter whether you make $153,000 a year, $228,000 a year, or $1 million a year. With the traditional IRA, you can your income limits do not matter. You can contribute to it. However, having said that, they do have limits for deductions if you or your spouse, however, have access to a workplace retirement plan. The last major difference between the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA is that the traditional IRAs have these things called RMDs, required minimum distribution limits, and Roth IRAs do not have these. This small acronym, RMD, literally everybody has generational implications behind it. And I'm going to talk about that later in this podcast. The last thing I'll mention this as well, and the difference between Roth IRAs versus traditional IRAs is general rules of thumb, okay? And I'm not the biggest fan of rules of thumbs, but this is how it works. If you expect to be in a higher tax bracket at retirement, financial planners will typically tell you should probably go with a Roth IRA because you want to pay taxes now and not pay taxes later when you're making more money. Conversely, if you expect to be in a lower tax bracket at retirement, you should be investing into a traditional IRA today because you would rather pay less taxes today than when you're making more money down the line. Once again, those are rules of thumb, and I'm not really the biggest fan of them, okay? Also, before we're going further, please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop new content. Please hit that like button, please comment, please subscribe, please share the video. It helps the algorithm and allows me to bring you all free content as I'm giving you an MBA level worth of investing in financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. Let's move back to this RMD concept, okay? Required minimum distributions. Traditional IRAs have RMDs, which means once you turn 73 years old, you have to start pulling money out of your traditional IRA. So even if you're a decamillionaire and you don't need the money, with a traditional IRA, you have to start pulling money out of it at 73 years old. With Roth IRAs, however, you do not have to do that because there are no RMDs. So if you put your money into a Roth IRA at 73, instead of pulling the money out because you're forced to by the federal government, with a Roth IRA, you can keep the money inside the account and allow it to continue to grow and grow and grow and compound. And if you follow my channel, you'll know that I'm not really, once again, the biggest fan of following rules of thumb. And I want you to check out my podcast why I don't use financial planners, because if a financial planner is telling you to go with a traditional IRA versus a Roth IRA, when you get to that RMD phase, particularly if you've taught your children how to be financially literate and financial literacy, that is going to seriously hurt you. Also, I want you to check out my podcast as well on why I don't use financial planners and why whole life insurance policies suck. And you'll see exactly what I mean when I talk about why I don't particularly care for rules of thumb or for a lot of financial advice that a lot of these financial planners are giving people, okay? And I'll be full disclosure as well, when we got on our financial journey, my wife and I have literally always invested into Roth IRAs and not traditional IRAs for 4 major reasons. The first major reason you should go with a Roth IRA is because of peace of mind. Once you eliminate any expenditure, you have a much greater peace of mind when it comes to retiring early because you have a vastly better idea about how much money is actually going to be in your account. Taxes, everybody, are arguably the greatest expenditure that you have going when you're in retirement. And with a Roth IRA, you eliminate taxes at retirement because you have already paid them in the beginning. Thus, if you go with a Roth IRA, you are giving yourself a greater peace of mind because you know exactly how much money you have waiting for you in retirement. Next, the second reason you should go with a Roth IRA is because of flexibility. I push the concept, everybody, of financially emancipating yourself from financial poverty. And as a result of this inherently means if you follow the things I talk about on this channel, you are going to be able to retire early with millions of dollars in the bank. With a Roth IRA, you have the flexibility to access all of your contributions in your Roth IRA tax and penalty free because you've already paid the taxes in the beginning. And this is a huge advantage for people that want to retire early with dignity and respect. The third reason you should go with a Roth IRA is because of taxes. And I talked about this a little earlier. Despite what certain cable news outlets say every night, and despite what some of these fear mongers on YouTube and on social media say, America has actually been cutting taxes for the last 60 years. And taxes today, people, are historically low. According to a 2020 study done by the Bradford Tax Institute, from 1944 to 1963, the top income tax bracket paid a whopping 94% of their taxable income to the federal government. Think about that for a minute, 94%. In the 1970s, the federal income tax rate never actually dipped below 70%. And since the 1980s, the top federal income tax rate has hovered around 40 to 44%. As a result of these tax cuts, everybody, our nation's national debt hovers somewhere around $33 trillion with a T. And regardless of regardless of what side of the political aisle you stand on, at some point, America in the very near future is going to have to get very serious about paying down this $33 trillion with the T of capital debt by essentially raising everyone's taxes. So with taxes today being historically low, my advice is that you should go with a Roth IRA today and pay your taxes today when taxes are historically low, because you do not want to have to pay taxes 25, 30, or 10 years from now when they raise everybody's taxes. So instead of waiting for the government once again to raise your taxes and then having to pay exorbitant taxes when you're ready to retire, I don't know, 20 to 40 years from now, once again, pay your taxes today. And it's very, very hard to guess what the federal government is going to do and when they're going to raise everybody's taxes. But once again, we have a national debt in this country of $33 trillion. It's not sustainable, people. And one of the only ways they're going to be able to lower that number is by raising everybody's taxes. So pay your taxes today when they're historically low. That's why I say go with a Roth IRA. The last reason you should go with a Roth IRA versus a traditional IRA is because with a Roth IRA, there are no required minimum distributions, okay? And as a result of that, this significantly increases your ability to create and to pass generational wealth onto your children. If you follow my channel, Financipation, you are well aware of the fact that I talk about the need for people to build generational wealth. And earlier, I talked about RMDs, or required minimum distributions, that are required for traditional IRAs. With Roth IRAs, people, you do not have to pay RMDs. And as a result, if you do not have to start taking money out of your Roth IRA at 73, if you want, you can essentially continue to allow that money to grow in your Roth IRA. With the traditional IRA, you cannot do that. This was the proverbial nail in the coffin for my wife and for myself when it came to whether we would go with the traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. Because with a Roth IRA, you can literally give the money that you spent the last 50 years of your life compounding the interest on and give it to your children and to the next generation. And you can literally take that $1.5 to $10 million, however much you basically have to save into your Roth IRA, and give it to your kids so they can deposit into their brokerage accounts or into their individual retirement accounts as well. Having said that, though, with the traditional IRA, you cannot do that, because with the RMD, it is the federal government requires you to pull money out of it at a certain age. As a result, it is much easier to build generational wealth for your children and your grandchildren if you invest with a Roth IRA and not with the traditional IRA. So in closing, everybody, when my wife and I looked at the facts, the pros and cons of traditional IRAs versus Roth IRAs, we decided to go exclusively with the Roth IRA over the traditional IRA. And when I realized that the Roth IRA for us was vastly superior to the traditional IRA, full disclosure, I had close to $200,000 in my traditional IRA account. I then spent a few years doing backdoor Roth IRA conversions to take that money out of my traditional IRA and putting it into my Roth IRA accounts. And I did that through a concept called the backdoor Roth IRA. I'm actually going to drop a separate podcast very soon on backdoor Roth IRAs and how we ended up converting them from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. So stay tuned for that, okay? And that's for my higher income earners. I also have content where I want to go into detail as far as the financial concepts that have allowed my wife and I to more than quadruple our income. So check out some of my other YouTube videos as well, okay? And you'll kind of get an idea as far as what we actually invested into and how we did it, okay? And if you want to book a one-on-one session with me where I go into greater detail about the types of time-proven investment strategies that work, as well as how to invest like the 0.001% billionaires on the planet, book a one-on-one session and check out some of my content, okay? Lastly, as I stated earlier, I'll be dropping an e-product soon on the types of investments that my wife and I have made over the years that have allowed our Roth IRAs and our 401ks to skyrocket over the years. So check out those concepts, okay? In closing, everyone, this channel, Financipation, is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth. It's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. I want you guys to go through this podcast. I want you to take a listen to, okay, what the traditional pros and cons of a traditional IRA, the pros and cons of a Roth IRA. And from there, I think I've equipped you with the tools to kind of determine which one is best for you and for your family. You can book a one-on-one session with me at any point. The link is below. I'm not giving you financial advice, people on this channel. You must make your own individual responsible decisions based on the thorough independent research that you do for yourself. And thanks for listening, everybody. I appreciate it, okay? Please check me out and follow me on www, on my website, www.therealfinancipation.com. My Instagram page is thereal_financipation. My Spotify is Financipation. My TikTok is Financipation. And my Facebook page is Financipation. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification button, everyone, so you know when I drop new content. Thank you, Killica Solutions, for all these dope graphics. And it's your boy Chris. I'm out. Peace.